Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phil Law. I grew up right outside of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. After graduating high school, I enlisted in the Marine Corps, and that's what brought me down to Jacksonville, where my wife and I have lived for about 20 years. We have 3 children. About in 2014, I sought some care with the VA health system, and it was a really bad experience, and I wanted to do more. So I became a service officer with the American Legion. I helped people then, but I didn't solve the problems. So I found out the only way to enact any change was to run for the U.S. House, because that's where you could get things done. So I ran in 2016. I just ran last year in 2018, and I'm running again this year. And I am ready to go and fight for you in D.C., and I would definitely appreciate your vote. Thank you very much. In the real world, I'm an analyst and a project manager, so I bring 2 diverse groups together towards a common goal. But the reality of the situation is you're going to come into Congress less than a freshman with only a year left in your term in September. You are not going to be able to get anything done because Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House. The reality of the situation is the congressional office has been without a leader for at least a year by then, and a lot of people have left. I plan on rebuilding the congressional offices, opening 3 district offices in the districts, which I think is very needed because we've been without a representative for so long. People are dying to have representation, to have a voice in D.C. I will be that voice. I will rebuild the constituent service. I will rebuild the office. There's a lot of problems with the tariffs and a lot of concerns about that. There's some immediate pain involved with them and a lot of concern. However, the usage of the tariffs are for countries who are illegally manipulating the markets, usually flooding our country with cheap products that American producers cannot compete with. A great example is the shrimp for our commercial fishermen, where shrimp from Thailand cheaply are created over there in Thailand and then dumped over here cheaply, where our normal commercial fishermen cannot compete against those prices. And it's usually with steroids and horrible growing procedures. It's just not right. So that's a good usage of the tariffs. Another thing I disagree with is his signing of the spending bills, where hundreds of millions of dollars were given to foreign foundations for which we will never know where they went. That are commercial fishermen, and what they told me is they are being regulated out of this business. Just recently, they were disallowed from using gill nets in the river streams, and now they've been told that there will not be a flounder season anymore. North Carolina is one of the few states on the East Coast that allows coastal fishing. And when we start losing that, you're going to lose an entire industry. And guess where we're going to have to get our fish from? A foreign country where you will not know how it was raised, what drugs were used, and how it was fed, or how it was handled. Because the FDA is overwhelmed. That's why we need to support our fishermen here. Because I like my fish fresh and local. Thank you. I've actually been down to the border. I was stationed right outside of San Diego, and I've been to the border of San Ysidro, port of entry there. And let me tell you, back in the 80s, there was no wall, and they had a big problem with illegal immigrants crossing the border. Then they built a wall there, and it's one of the most fortified areas of the border with Mexico, and they don't have a problem. The wall works. We need to build the wall right now. When an illegal immigrant crosses the border, they become a criminal for life. It's illegal for them to work, but they do it anyway. They're a criminal. It's illegal for them to own a house. They become a criminal. It's illegal for them to drive. They're a criminal. They get in this vicious circle of being a criminal. They need to come here legally and respect our laws. And we have to stop the bleeding by building the wall now. Thank you.
What is your position pertinent to the national debt? Would you cast a vote as a member of Congress that would add to the national debt?
The answer would be no, and actually as a fiscal conservative, I would like to go even further. We need to look at all of these budget bills that are coming out and look at this fraud, waste, and abuse in the system. And a great example in the federal government, you have organizations where at the end of a fiscal year, they try and spend the rest of their budget for fear that they will not get it next year. So I've had an idea where will actually do a rollover plan where the remainder of the budget that they save, they will actually be able to roll over a percentage of that into the next year, which will not only save the federal government money, will also benefit the organization so that they can buy quality goods and not waste money at the end of the fiscal year.
President Trump has endorsed federal legislation allowing so-called red flag gun seizures, where courts can order firearms taken away from individuals deemed to be a threat to themselves or others. Would you support this legislation?
So for the people who don't understand what the red flag laws are, this is, how it can be used improperly is like, I don't like Bev, so I'm going to report her and say that she is mentally not able to own a firearm. So they'll go and steal her, steal her firearm without due process. Actually, just last year, Governor Cooper proposed this, and I actually put out a mailer, I don't know if anyone saw it, where I actually opposed him in this. Our gun rights are given to us by God. Our right to defend ourselves, not only by the Constitution, but by our God as well. When we give way any little bit, all they're doing is chipping away at our foundation. We've got a lot of issues here in the 3rd District, but I'm uniquely qualified to handle these emerging challenges as a new generation of leadership emerges. Let me say that I'm not running to replace Walter Jones, because that just can't happen. I'm running to combat illegal immigration, which is killing our countries, and to fight for our veterans both on and off the battlefield. Look, Walter was a champion for our veterans, and that service will continue. I just want to say God bless you all, and God bless America, because it is worth fighting for. If you want a fighter in D.C., I say, hey, build the wall, elect Phil Law. Thank you very much.